Hey, Patricia. What are you doing, love? Hey, Jill. Hey, Melanie. Hey, Jen. Hey, you doing? Hey, Jen Lee. How y'all doing? Hey, Kathy. Yeah, I just a few minutes ago finally woke up. Dang, I crashed out today. I'm good. Good deal. Hope everybody's had a good day. Hey, Wanda. Wanda, come here.
What?
Why don't you come in here and I want to ask you some questions on the live.
The funniest thing I do that I can think of is when they'd have a thing in the school, in the church house, and they'd trying to get everybody ticked ready for the party. You know,
Hang
I
on.
think it's
Hang
funny.
on. Let me get you a chair so you can sit down here. You go. I want you to be on live with me tonight. Go comb your hair or whatnot and come back in here. I'll go get you a chair. I'm gonna ask her some questions. I don't know what come of that. She said the funniest thing. Of course, she knows. That's probably what I'm gonna ask anyway. But I want to see what her funniest thing is, and maybe what her uh, most horrific moments ever been. So let me go get her a chair. Let me pull this one over. I'll put my little one up in here.
That table ain't too thick.
Well, it's just a little old card table. So what is your funniest moment you can ever remember?
Probably what we did at church house.
What was that?
We had bringing food, and they asked uh, the I can't remember who it was teaching it. Might have been the Wayne Guthrie,
Uh,
but he asked something and before I thought that what I was doing, I just spoke up and I said something about I couldn't get that high note.
yeah.
And it got everybody tickled and they laughed the whole big time with it at me.
That's the funniest thing you've ever done.
Well,
Come on now.
let's see.
Uh huh. There's more to it than that, I guarantee you. Lynn says, "Hey, beautiful Wanda." Carrie says, "Hey, Wanda." They're saying hey to you.
Oh, hi. I don't know. I keep thinking it's milk, but offhand.
Well, what is probably the most horrific thing you can ever think of?
Lord, I know. No.
Well, think of something. Do you remember that? What Mama was talking about that time that when she got followed coming up the mountain? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Tell that one.
Part of it anyway.
What did she tell you? Because I know what she told me.
Uh,
I want to see if it matches with what she told me. Because she told me she seen a light, a ball of light that was following her. What did she tell you?
she said she coming up the mountain. Said the car nearly quit. Said it just going on. I'm gonna stop. It's going so slow and she couldn't get it to go no faster.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Now Lord, I gotta get home." And she said, when she said that there was a big old white light come up in the middle of the road. And she said, "Now I said I'm only doing home because I ain't ready to die yet." She said it scared her at first, and she said the more she thought about it, the more she thought there's something behind that that's meant for her to see. But she didn't know what. But she said it scared the crap out of her.
Do you remember when Mama was young? She told about it. She said that she went on a date with a fella and they ended up wrecking their car. Do you know how come they wrecked the car?
No. All I know is they had a bed.
Well,
That's all I know.
what she told me was is the person that she was dating at the time worked at the funeral home and was driving a hearse.
Oh, yeah. I, that was probably that guy that was bringing the body from Chattanooga down here to Scottsboro.
What happened?
And he had to stop and get gas and eat. He stopped and get some gas. And while he was doing that, there's a homeless guy crawled in the back of that hearse, that coffin. And he's just going along and he's just minding his own business, you know. Said Victor, he raised up and said, "Hey, Victor, you let me out right here." And he said, "He went to bed." He went out the road, wrecked the car, tore up the casket, and they had to reface it. And then I don't know what else. And he got hurt,
Yeah.
but he said it scared him so bad that old guy raised up and said, "Hey, bud, did you let me out right here?" He said he thought that didn't mean they come back alive.
Lord have mercy.
He went out the road. You know the old highway going to Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Well, he was going down it. And you know, there's a park down in there, there's a big ditch.
Hmm.
He went in that big ditch.
I know they said it totaled his car out.
Yeah, he told that hoe. He was driving hers. Uh,
Bless
but uh, that
you. She's feeling a lot better.
the funeral home up there.
You know, uh, I went to a cemetery one time up in Chattanooga, and what made me think of it was something Mama told me. That's my grandmother I'm talking about. Uh, she said that there was a glass proof uh, sealed in dollhouse on
Oh,
top of a child's grave.
yeah,
Do you remember that?
yeah.
Well, I went up there and I asked about it, and he said, "Yeah." He said they was, but you know they had to take that down because somebody had broke it.
Yeah.
You
They
remember the
had
story on that?
they had it completely sealed. Uh, Windproof, waterproof, you know, on the whole 9 yards in. You know, the little girl was she was born with I can't remember now what it was being but she was born with some kind of defect. You know. Them people made over that kid like crazy. You know.
Okay.
She was about 8, I think, 7 or 8 when she passed away.
Hmm.
And her mother couldn't stand for her not to have something to play with. So they went all out, built that dollhouse around her grave and over it. And they put little rocking chair in there, put some of her dolls she played with in it, and they sealed it up, completely sealed, so that nothing would get, it's something airtight.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of boys went and both the life in it, and stole the little rocking chair and then dolls. And the next day, police was checking it out. They got a lot of fingerprints. They arrested 4 boys.
Well, you know, Mama told me said that you could go up there and uh, if you got to talking to her, her little rocking chair would start rocking
Yeah,
on the front porch of that dollhouse.
yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do, but
I can't
terribly
remember.
they messed it up.
I can't remember which cemetery it was, but we went out there and I seen that little dollhouse. Pretty thing you've seen. And that rock was that man made himself. And it was like an antique rock. And
Sabina said she's seen that grave on YouTube. Hmm.
and they go by every day and check it, you know. Then they left when they went home the next night, that evening, you know, when he got home, once they go check it again, that's when they found out somebody vandalized it. They stole the rocking chair, they stole something for the dog, and they stole a whole bunch of other stuff they had in there for her. They had it fixed up like her bedroom.
Happy
It looked
birthday,
like
love.
her bedroom.
Yeah. Do you remember that old house Mom and them used to live in behind that old store building?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what she said happened out there on the balcony
Mm-hmm.
that you could pass by still to this day and
Mm-hmm.
see? Tell that. Tell about that.
Well, you mean the girl that hung herself on the balcony?
Mm.
Yeah. It was on her wedding night. Her daddy made her marry this older man, and she didn't want to. You know, she had a heart set on somebody else, you know, and she didn't want to marry that guy. The daddy made her. Back in them days, back in the early 20s, or, you know, back in that
Mm.
night so bad, they made the kids get married sometimes, and they made her marry him, and she was so disappointed and disheartened that uh, they supposed to spend the night in that house, the wedding. And she told them she wanted to go out on the balcony and get them fish out. Went out on the balcony, and they had a thing with flowers in it. It was hanging.
Yeah.
And she took the flowers off that thing and she hung herself.
Mama used to tell me, said that still to this day, said you could go out there and at a certain time of night you could see a woman hanging.
Hmm. Yeah, lots of people think
I'd like to speak to someone that has, 'cause, I went out there, but that old place is tore down.
yeah.
But I just wonder if anybody's ever snapped a photo or anything of that.
I don't know. I know.
I was out there pretty close to where Shirley lives. Shirley Stockman.
Oh, I ain't seen her in years.
She just lives probably maybe 2 or 3 houses down from there.
Well, they made them tear down that house. Some people wanted to move in it and redo it.
Yeah.
And the city would let them because when them people got out, all that property went back to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't let them move. They wouldn't let them people move in it because it was so old, part of it was falling down.
Hello.
They condemned it and they tore it down. But yeah, you can on certain days or certain nights, you can still go by there and you can see that girl walking.
What, on that balcony?
Yeah, she went on it. They think they tore the house down. She's not on the balcony no more, but you can still walk. She'll make a circle around. And there's another place. I think it's in Chattanooga. This
Go
girl.
ahead and speak up a little bit so everybody can hear you.
I think it's in Chattanooga. This woman lost her baby. When it time for her to have it, she lost it. And they said it just tore her all to pieces. She was kind of crazy. And she committed suicide, but I don't know how. But they say that you can, on certain nights, you can see her out walking around where the house place was.
Mm.
She's searching for that baby. She wasn't
Yeah.
happy without that baby.
Yeah.
They say you can see her. She'll walk around all over the place and just walk in circles around the mountain.
Papa told me a story one time. He said that there was back when he was young.
Yeah.
He was born in 1906.
Yeah.
He said that this family had a daughter, and said she fell ill, and when she passed, they took her. It was during the winter.
Yeah.
And said they took her out in the front yard and buried her
Yeah.
next to an old tree out there.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they didn't understand these medical things that happen today. And they went out there about a week later after the snow had thawed, and that little girl was sitting up in that hole with her hands in her hair.
She's in her casket. Now they took the nails out of the casket and made legs so that woman wouldn't steal one more time.
She was sitting up with her hands in her hair.
Yeah, she's on her hands and knees and her hands in her hair.
Could you imagine that?
It drove that woman crazy. They put
I
her
bet.
in the insane asylum.
Hey, Beck. That would have to be terrible. But back in them days, they didn't understand the things about people's heart stops sometimes and starts back,
Well, no. They
or
were
a coma.
They were the another man there that comes. Somebody was telling him about it. He said he wanted to talk to them people to find out how she did.
Mm-hmm.
He said what it was. He's out. Of course, there's no way of telling for sure because she's done dead and gone. But he said he believed that she went into a diabetic coma and they couldn't wake her up.
Hey, Christina, how you doing now?
Hey,
I think probably the funniest thing I ever heard my papa say was, back in the day, they would sit with the dead.
yeah.
You remember where I'm going? and one of their family friends had passed, and they set up with him. He had some family out of town that's having to wait, so there's about a 3 day period there.
Yeah.
Well, they had him laid out in the living room, and they was all sitting around talking and carrying on and whatnot. And now, remind you, this has been 3 days. All of a sudden, this fella raised up and said, "Turn the heat on, get my shoes." He said, "My feet cold." He said, "Everybody in that house scattered like ants." Could you imagine sitting with somebody you thought was dead and
Yeah.
then roused
Well,
up? They go,
well, they sitting with me one time. They said they was gonna be in the next morning, the
there you
next day. They said that night while they were sitting there and said he raised up off that table and said, "Hey y'all, so put some wood on there for my feet cold."
go.
They had a colored waiter and he was waiting on, they had from people something to eat, something to drink, and all that. They said if you'd him come back, he went through the door.
I don't doubt it a bit. I
There's
don't doubt it a bit.
the guy that mother was going with, and she told you about drove the hearse.
You're going to speak up a little bit so everybody can hear you.
The guy mother was going with when he was driving that hearse. He said they wouldn't pick up the body. Then they brought it in, and if they can't get to him right then, they'll put him on what they call a cooling tape. You know, they said he was working around there trying to get things situated so he could get to that man, get him ready. And he said the colored guy that was the janitor said he was kind of an old man. Said that uh, the body had
No.
they cool down somehow. Sometimes they nose stuck. They said that man sat up on that table and said it scared that old colored fella so bad that he went absolutely through the flower door. And
Oh, no.
they wouldn't let him, but his print before he went through that door. They had put up another door.
Hey, some people just can't do the dead side, I'm telling
But he said he's all right as long as they stay where they're supposed to. But when they start raising up, they let him go. He went back to the funeral home and apologized to the man that owned the funeral home for making his door. But he said, "I don't think I want to come back to work. I just don't like that thing.
you. Yeah.
I can't handle that thing, so they think me." But he went all the way through the door. They said they took that door down when they put a new one up, and said that man that owned it, that he carried home with him, that people wouldn't believe him if he didn't show them something that people know what's going on.
Have to take the door off to have proof of it.
Yeah. They said his body just raised up, just sat there. It's like he was sitting still.
There was a guy one time told me, he said he worked for uh, um, a search team,
Yeah.
and said that they was looking around the edges of a pond. And I think you know this person, or did know this person. Uh, it was up here on the north end up here, and the guy was fooling around with his hands, in the edge of the water and whatnot. He said all of a sudden a hand grabbed his arm. He said he jerked when he did. He said his arm and that person's arm come off and was still latched to his arm.
Oh my goodness.
And come find out, it was what's her name's son up here on upper end up here. Uh,
Silly?
no, uh, what was her name? She died here a while back. Her son got cut in half
Oh.
up there on that motorcycle.
Oh, that's Edwin. His mama ain't dead.
No, well, her.
Yeah, he did. He cut him in two.
No, I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about the boy. They found him in the pond behind her house. You know where she
Yeah.
lives. You know the pond
that-
behind her house.
Yeah, well, that was the boy that hit Edwin. They was best friends. Edwin was on the motorcycle, but they got him for graduation
I
present.
I know that part, but what I was talking about was the boy that they found in the pond.
Well,
While that searcher was fooling around,
yeah,
he had been in the water so long that when I don't know if it was just uh, reflex or what, maybe he touched and it just I
he
don't know,
grabbing hold of something.
but it grabbed his arm and he jerked out so fast that dude's arm come with it. Could you imagine?
Oh Lord. Well,
Okay,
that boy
now
died.
that's time to go ahead and freak out.
That boy died. Edwin and me and a bunch of others. We all knew each other. We grew up together.
I
And
know she'd know that boy.
that boy
Yeah.
was the one who
Hey
hit
there,
Edwin.
hey there.
Was the one who hit Edwin that night and killed him. It just drove him crazy.
Yeah.
He couldn't handle it. And he had a trailer down there below uh, that woman's house. And he rented it from them. But they bought it for Edwin, but he didn't want it. So he rented the trailer from them. And after him and Edwin had that collision, where he cut Edwin half in two, uh, he never got over it.
Yeah.
It drove him crazy. And he got to drinking one night. And he somehow or other, he got a gun from somebody. He's going to shoot himself. And he said, no, that don't hurt too bad. Then the other said, I know, but I know we're doing it. So we got drunk, took a bunch of pills, and went out to the pond. And well, him and Edwin's fishing in the pond.
You're gonna speak up a little bit.
And when we went out to the pond, he said he saw Edwin. And that just made it worse. He just jumped in the pond and went down to the bottom and didn't come back. They dug for 2 or 3 days to find him.
Yeah.
Finally, he comes to the top.
The guys she's talking about, Edwin, they went to school together, and I was up here at the family cemetery up here on my mom's side, and I was walking around one day, and I went between these two graves, and a guy said I got killed. So I stopped and I turned around and come back about where I heard it, and I looked around. There was a couple of guys around, I think a woman or two. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Edwin." So I walked on around a little bit, and there lay Edwin. I said, "What happened, man?" He said, "I got killed on my motorcycle." He said, "I got cut in half." I thought, that gun, man, that's terrible. So I had it all on recording, and it should still be up. It was under JD's Paranormal, but it could still be up. And anyhow, I got home, and I was, mother always wanted to listen to everything I done, before I uploaded it. And she said, "Hold on." She said, "Rewind that." And she listened to it again. She said, "Wait a minute." She said, "I went to school with that boy." She said, and he did. Said he got a motorcycle for his graduation. Said up here on top of the hill up here, said he was turning around, going to pull back out. Said when he did, here come a car around the curve and hit him. He went up in there and come back down on his windshield. And that's what cut him. And said that, come find out, it was his best friend that gum hit him. So it was a messed up situation all the way around. But it was also neat that Edwin was willing to tell his story. And it just blew Mother's mind. You remember that, Sabina? Yeah, there you go. That is just awesome, man,
Yeah.
to be able to tell that.
The
It is.
The beady dog, he was on his way to, Edmund was on his way to pick up his girlfriend. And we were going to National Guard Army and got, we were going to have a benefit thing. And the whole community always pitched in to help when we done something like that. And we had no idea we went up on a rig. And cop stopped and told us about the bad rig. We had that way walk because there was no way to go. And I had no idea it was Edwin. And then Papa asked him, said, well, do you know if anybody got hurt? And he said, yes. He said, there was fatality. And he said, well, do you know who it was? And he said, well, it's a young boy. And he called out Edmund's name. And it was bad. I like to drop the cupcakes. I
Yeah.
had a box of cupcakes in my lap.
But
I like to turn them upside down when they said it was Edmund. And the cop was going into detail about what was going on.
mhm.
But I didn't have no idea. I ended up going to coming up from that. But
Yeah.
we had to wait. It took them 2 or 3 hours to get it things situated there. They couldn't find it. It cut him into his hip for a little bit, about like that. That done thing hung together. And it
They said his mama sat there and held him
she did.
for a long time.
Yeah, she wouldn't let him take him. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't. She just ignoring the fact that he's cutting too. She just holding his head in her
Well, of
lap.
course, any kind of dramatic thing like that, you're going to try your best to block the world
Yeah.
out for a while.
Well, she had him up in her arms, and she was sitting there holding him. And one shoe, he had on his tennis shoes. One shoe was open this, about 3 or 4 yards from where the wreck was. And then one of them was still on one part of his body. And she was sitting there in the middle of the road, and she was holding him and rocking him back and forth, like she did when he was little.
Yeah. You remember down there when I worked at furniture company? You remember that warehouse we used to
Yeah,
work at? Well, you know that train track right there at that depot?
yeah,
We was sitting there on the dock one day and Chambers. Well, it happened about a month before I started. And right down the way was a stack of railroad ties up
yeah,
against the edge of the track.
yeah.
He said that there was a woman sitting there on her cell phone at the railroad track to cross. But apparently her front end was out too far and it caught her car and it pushed her down the track to that set of railroad ties
Mm.
and said that it just kind of crumbled it in, just crushed it in. And he said that he run down there and was talking to that woman and he said she seemed to be all right, but everything was, all pushed up against her and everything. He didn't know how bad it might have been, and said that he was standing there when they was cutting her out.
Yeah.
And he said when that steering wheel pushed away from her chest, said she just went white and just fell over. All that pressure was holding in the blood, and
Yeah,
kept
headed
her
out,
alive.
stopped in
Yeah.
one spot.
That was sad,
sort of
too.
like what happened to that girl when had a wreck when we was going to work when we were at the sheep plant. Uh, it was raining. Oh, it's bad and stormy that morning. It was raining like crazy. And she was driving a little Duesenberg, I think. And it might be a little car. I guess they put it out. I don't know. And it was just pouring down rain, and she went over that big old ditch. Well, it was she hit some water. They had to find it. Her car went upside down in the ditch. And Mother told James, and James, well, if I think anybody got hurt, if there's another way we can go around. We're going to be late for work. So James went up there and talked to the policeman about it, and they wouldn't let us through. And he said if
You got to talk up a little bit.
he said if the bosses give us a hard time, call him. And James said he took the guy in the other car. Said he just fell over and said the head just fell back feet. Said, and it's good daylight that James. He come back to the car and he said, I'm being, don't you ever tell me to do something like that again. So that was a dead man. And then he scared him. He did, it scared him. Then he come back to his car, he was white as fish cotton.
Yeah,
It scared the sleep out of him.
I guess so. Anytime you see something like that, it's bad. It really is. Like,
Yeah. It's like that van that they on the way back from Florida for out of him behind. The wheel come off of it and it went through another vehicle, cut that man's head off. And he had a wife. And,
Freak accidents.
yeah, had a wife and 2 kids with him in the car. He took his back between was a Athens said they saw it. He said they wouldn't pass and fight, the woman was driving. Said that wheel come off of that van and said it threw out the fight. Said he hit that other car and said he just made a print right through that window. Took that man's head out.
Yeah. There was I think it was up in Cincinnati one time. There was a man's tire come off his car, and it rolled down the highway, and another car apparently wasn't paying attention. They hit it and just tossed that tire. And there was some people sitting out on the sidewalk eating at a little old restaurant, and it hit her in the top of the head, and they thought it might have killed her. It didn't. It skinned her hair off the top of her head. She had a bald streak down the top of her head.
Yeah.
She was lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky. I mean,
somebody said they told her that day she had the Lord riding with her because they wouldn't know where she could come out of that.
That's crazy. Just a freak accident.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beck. Beck says you're so sweet. Okay, Carrie, love you too. Be careful of between freak accidents and things. You wonder sometimes how come things happen, but we also been taught that you're not going to understand everything, and you're not supposed to. It's sad. But everybody's got their own way of going, I reckon. Like anything else funny you ever did? Anything else funny you ever did?
I don't know, maybe when young girl was teaching me how to ride a bicycle, let me go to the top of the hill and I hit the ground. I rolled off and had that hill. I mean, the house, I just beating all over the place. One of mom and daughter, one mother's sister, said, Lord, younger said, did you get hit by a car? Did you just cut people work? I said, no, I didn't get hit by a car. I said, I wrecked my bicycle.
Yep.
Time over there, there's a big hill.
Yeah.
They took me top that hill, put me on that bicycle. He said, now hold steady and let go. Don't let go. They let me go. I went down that hill. I hit a big old rock. I went one way, the bicycle went another way.
Didn't work out, did
it? No. And John Bull, all he could do was just done laugh at me.
That's about all that nut job could do. I remember one time. I don't remember if I was just little bitty or mother was telling me about it. Said that's where y'all had that house built up there. Said you come off the porch one day and you fell and you hit every gum step coming off there.
Yeah, you 2 or 3 months old, I guess. But all they can do is stand there and laugh at me.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
They thought I broke my hip. But I boosted the bad, but I hit every step, one right after the other. And I said, y'all, what are y'all laughing at? I said, that hurt. He goes, well, why come you to fall down like that? I said, I don't know. I must have kept something to my eye. I told that woman. George said, you didn't step on no ice, ain't none up here. But somehow or other, I felt I went every step all the way down.
Yeah. I tell you what, Wanda has actually been a pretty well go-getter. We've done some crazy stuff. I remember back in '93, we had a snowstorm come, and it was 3 feet level ground. And Wanda wanted some snow cream. But what she forgot about is the day before, I was outside doing something. I don't remember what it was. But she tossed some ice of snow and it got in my collar back here. I can't stand that for nothing. And well, anyhow, I thought, yeah, I'll catch her out there sometime. So she was standing on the edge of the porch, scraping up some snow for some ice cream. I said, okay, here's my chance. So she had both hands down there just going to town, not paying no attention. So I walked up behind her and reached down there and grabbed both hands and just gave her a flip out through there.
I found about 17 feet snow.
She just went sprawling out through there. She come back in really white. You remember that?
Yeah. When you put me in that snow bank, it's about 17 feet. I didn't be down in the snow and I couldn't see nothing.
We went 4-wheeler riding one time and we was going up the trail and she said, well, turn around now. She said, there's a tree there in the trail. I said, nah. She said, well, we can't go around it. And I said, no. She said, you better not. I said, just hold on. Her hair, was all fixed up, stuff. Time we got out of there, it looked like she'd stuck her finger in the light socket. We went right over that daggum log. And we went up in the clay hills, and for some reason it just turned out awesome. But as we was climbing this hill that made out of clay, it raised up, and Wanda's hair was literally dragging the ground. And it stayed that way for, it seemed like 5 minutes. I couldn't get it to come back down. And when I did that, that's when I looked up, and man, she was all out of sorts. Had red clay mud everywhere. Daggum hair still stuck out with all that hair spray. Okay. It
made a wreck out of me.
It was something else. There you go.
But we had some good times though.
Yeah.
I'm about to get where I can't do stuff like that no more.
I had to bounce you to death now. There you go. Yeah. Yes, 93 was bad. We was about 2 weeks without power.
93, about 2.5 weeks.
I remember Mama, she would put snow in the bathtub to melt so we would have some water. You remember that?
Yeah. National Guard bought water out there in the tank for a long time.
It really got bad down here.
They said they measured the snow. When the news broadcasters on the TV, when we finally got electricity back, said that they measured the snow in different places. And they said out there at Grant, we had 17-foot drift where it snowed up against houses or banks or whatever. And in Huntsville, they said it was 15 feet, and somewhere else it was 13 feet. And it was different places got a little bit different in it. But everybody was snowed in wood and tight.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was something else. I mean, of course, we was young. We didn't care. But now,
we look back now and think how dangerous it was.
Yeah. I swear one time, my Uncle Burl, he was bald headed. I think I made him sprout 3 hairs one day. I was headed up to the store and I noticed him off the side of the road in a ditch. And he's a nervous type feller anyway. And I picked him up. He said, where you headed? I said, I'm going to go up here to the store. And he said, that's where I was going. So we went up there, and I mean, my little old truck was just sliding every which way. And coming back, you have to come up a hill. We was coming up that hill, and the next thing we know, we was going backwards. Man, he squealed out. I just know he bust my eardrum. And he was top hurt. He was kind of red on the neck and chest anyway. Blood pressure, I guess. I don't know what. But I swear, that's the first time I ever seen that man turn white. And around the mouth, everything I'm talking about. And I guess when he wrecked his car in the ditch, it knocked his boggin and all off. But He didn't have a hair one on his head. But when he was getting out of the truck and we got him home, it looked to me like he had three sprouts up there. So that tickled me to
He
death.
had a little bit of hair around the back right here and dog.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
talking
tell
about
you,
on top. He didn't have a speck.
and I can't remember him ever having a lot of hair. But they got pictures of him when he was a young man,
You're not
and he had a head full of hair.
Yeah,
But as he got older, he lost it. He said that's the way his daddy was.
yeah.
He took after his daddy, but his other brothers didn't.
That ice and everything, these roads is dangerous, man. I remember I was having to go to the doctor. I think it was last year before last one. And it had come up a good snow and ice storm, and we was having to go off. Well, I wasn't gonna go off this side of the mountain, so I went off Schoolhouse Mountain, and I tell you what's true, that was nerve wracking. There was a woman in front of me. I know she was scared to death, but she kept braking. I rode my window down and hollered out. Everything I could do is telling her don't brake, And finally, when she got down toward the bottom, she eased off to the side. Uh, you know, regardless if you got to work or not, when it's like that, you better stay home.
Yeah.
I counted 19 crashes from the house to my doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
We come home from work early one night. They let us go home. Said that there were people that lived on the mountains could go home because the weather was getting bad and it was beginning to ice. Well, we left work early and we didn't come up Dawson's Camp because it's that close down there where it is.
Mm.
So we went another way, one of the other mountains. And we started up and a little bit of a grade there. And George got halfway up it and we got to slide back. So we just let it ease off in the grass and we couldn't get it to go nowhere. So we sat there and uh, there was a young boy that
We'll do
we
it.
knew stopped and picked it up. He said, "Ain't y'all about to freeze?" I said, "You ain't about to freeze." I said, "Ain't you?" He said, "Not yet, and I ain't having fun yet because I want to go sliding." I said, "Man, you crazy.
There
Go
you
sliding in that ice and not knowing where you're going." I said, "Boy," I said, "ain't you got no sense?" I said, "I know your mama raised you better than that."
some people know.
He said, "Yeah, my mama raised me different than that, but that's a lot to do it."
Yeah,
But he got us home though.
yeah.
But he was in a four-wheel drive. Yeah, I mean, we slid and flipped and done everything, turned around back and hit it. And we got up that mountain. He brought us all the way home. He said, when they ice melt, I told him, go get your car and get it home. And you know
Bless
that little blue in the papa ate?
One of mother's.
Yeah, the one we sold him. Yeah, well, that was what we was then. But,
Old Betsy.
huh?
Mother called it Betsy.
Yeah,
No station wagon.
yeah.
No Ford.
Well, that's what we was in. We can get that thing to go up the mountain, take your life. Or if we get started and you think you're getting going good, now then you just slide back and go back down the other way.
Yeah.
So we left it.
Uh,
It's a wonder it didn't get through.
what about Moody Brick? What was maybe the one of the most frightening things you ever seen at Moody Brick?
Moody Creek.
It's an old house that was built back in 1818. It's in Fackler, Alabama, and they are tunnels built up and under that home. Uh,
They
they
had a railroad, what they call it, Confederate Railroad.
Yeah.
There's a town that the slaves would go to.
well, they could flee. They could go up and under Crow Mountain and flee to
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
But they still to this day are old shackles and chains and things down in that old cellar down in there. What is something that you've seen it?
Well, before them people bought it, They got it now. We done it. We went investigating one night. Me, Tim,
Yeah.
Casey, and a bunch of We had a whole carload of Carrie, Karen, a bunch of. We started since we had a free reign that night. Nobody around. We gonna go look in the house. See what it about. We did. We got it in one of the main bedrooms upstairs. We went around look, looking at the bathroom, looking out the windows and stuff. And something grabbed my arm and shot deep at me. I mean, my arm stayed numb all the way up my shoulder for a day or two. But I thought she took hold my hand, because she's getting scared. And I said, Chili, I said, don't do that. I said, you shot me. She said, and she answered me. She's on the other side of the room. She said, I didn't touch you. You know, Tim had a flashlight. And he turned the flashlight so he could see before everybody's there. And I was on one side of the room, she was on the other side of the room. And whatever it was that touched me, shocked me. And my whole arm went numb all the way to my elbow. And when we left, uh, we turned around and looked at the building as we drove out the driveway. Well, there was a little cemetery out there in that yard. It had a gate. When we turned around and looked back, the cemetery gate was open. And it was closed when we got there, but it was open when we come back. And we turned around and looked backward, which was leaving. And there was a man standing at that gate. He closed it, he was standing at that gate.
I seen a man one time there, and
They say he was the man that recently,
I heard he was a caretaker.
uh, well, they said he built it, but at least so I don't know.
I don't believe that. I don't
either.
think that.
I don't think so either.
But the guy I seen, and if I wasn't filming, I wouldn't have never seen him because I had the phone up like this,
Yeah.
facing toward me.
Yeah.
I seen him behind me, standing next to the front porch, and he was in a pair of blue jeans and a red flannel shirt.
No, the man we seen was like a Quaker preacher. He had on black suit, white shirt, and a black tie and a hat. Old timey hat like in Quaker people used to wear. And he was standing at the gate to the cemetery.
Yeah. I tell you what, that place is something else. When I was working at the furniture company, I got to deliver there a few items, and I told the people that Miss Helen and her husband, they was an elderly couple. I told him, we used to come there when it was abandoned, and I think he was up in his 70s at the time, and he said, "Well, did you ever see anything?" And we was trying to work, and I was like, "Yeah." I said a few things. He's like, "Well, anything ever happened to you in here?" And I'm like, "No, nothing ever bothered me." He said, "Well," he said, "I can be in the shower and they'll turn the hot water off, or I can sit down for my breakfast and they'll pull the chair out from under me." He said he done had to have a hip replacement, all kind of junk. And he said he was laying in the bed one night and said he heard a bunch of noise. Said he roused up and he said he went out in the hall on the top floor, and he said there was a Confederate soldier standing out there, and said he had looked like some type of what are them things called that people back in the day used to drink their alcohol out of them. They're not a regular jug. They're like they would hold up one finger in it and put it on their shoulder kind of deal. It was like a metal like thing.
Well,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
But he said that soldier was.
I ain't seen them in years.
He said that soldier was just beating on the wall with it.
Yeah.
So he might have been just a mischief type person in the first place. I bet he was the one fooling around causing that old man problem.
Yeah. Could have been.
Like gummit.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say they saw Confederate soldiers there. At one time, they had that house for a hospital.
Yeah, back in the Civil War, they did.
So if seeing Confederate soldiers or Union soldiers to the one wouldn't be the
Well,
odd.
it's like a whiskey jug, but he said he called it something. It was a metal one. It wasn't like a regular jug. It was like a metal jug. The thing weighed probably 10 pounds
Yeah.
without anything in it.
But they carried on the shoulder.
He said it almost put you in mind like a vase, but it had a little bitty top to come up.
Yeah.
Uh, Nowadays, that'd be valuable.
It might be if you find them.
He said that I asked him, I said, I've heard about people carrying a whiskey jug.
Yeah.
He said, no. He said, this wasn't a whiskey jug. He said, this was, I forget what he called it. But he said, nowadays, or he said, back in my childhood, he said they would make glass ones.
Yeah.
And they was real dark glass.
Yeah.
And you could drop them on the ground, it wouldn't break.
Yeah.
But they, because they're so thick.
Yeah.
And they're marked with a number. And if it's got a certain number on it, they're valuable.
Yeah.
Even the glass ones. But
well, they would take a knife while that glass was still hot, and they put the numbers in it while it was still hot. And then they let it cool, and they got the numbers in there permanently.
No, it ain't the name he called off either. He said it almost looked like a vase, or some people call them a vase. I ain't gonna call nothing no vase. But it kind of flares out at the top, and then it comes back in. And
Yeah.
the way he described it kind of put me in the mind of an old timey lamp or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've never seen but one in my lifetime. My great grandmother had one, and I saw it with a little girl. I used to stay with it in the
I don't
summer,
know either.
and she had one, and they was going to redo the apartment building where she's leaving up at the door. So they moved her out and put her in another one. And while they were doing all that, hers got broke somehow.
Mm.
And she said it belonged to her husband.
Yeah.
And back, and he was a young boy, he might have been in the Civil War. Because he was 80-something years old when he died.
You know, them cornfields and everything out through there. This road that Moody Brick sits on is only wide enough for one car.
Yeah.
And on both sides, front and back of the house, all the way through both pastures, is nothing but cornfields. All out through there is where them soldiers passed.
Yeah.
Which ones didn't pass in the house.
Yeah.
And that old man had pictures on the refrigerator of the cornfields. And you could see soldiers in them photos.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, have you I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Mom and Papa had a picture made, and they were standing in front of the cornfield.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And if you have to look at it real close, but in the cornfield there's an image there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
It
It didn't look human.
It didn't look human. And
But I don't know if it's Matrix either. I don't know. I don't know if it's something that your mind first goes to. You know what I'm talking about when you see something Matrix. But it does. It looks like something that's not human.
It's not no human thing. I don't think.
I remember there was a photo we had, and we could find our photo albums. It was at the cemetery, and we'd go up there and everybody'd have a picnic and whatnot, put out flowers, and somebody had took a picture. Somebody was talking to these people that was in the car, but when you snapped the photo, there was somebody standing on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
Looking in, but they can't nobody tell who that fellow was.
No. Well, Mother went to school with the girl and grew up with her, went around with her, and she told Mother one day, she said, "Abigail, did you believe in God?" And she said, "Well, yeah, I don't tell everybody." He said, "No, I don't think there's no such person. I don't think there is one."
She should have turned around and walked away.
They've never been anything to prove to me that there is one.
She should have said, you woke up this morning, didn't you?
And Mother said, he said, well, said, you'll see. He said, we'll find out. And then she said, Mother showed us the looking them clouds out there and said, look at them, how they look. And
You talking about when she took that photo?
and took that picture. When she got that picture back and had it developed a perfect image of a man. And if you look at that picture and look at the pictures in the Bible of Jesus, they look the same. I don't know what she done with the picture, but I seen that picture once. And
You remember the Reed House Hotel that we went to that time I took him photos?
yeah, but she took that picture of that cloud. But it wasn't no cloud, it was perfect image of the Lord. I mean, it and the ones in the Bible. I mean, I didn't.
He can make a believer out of you quick.
He said, well, said, if they was anything that's the God that I wish there'd be a way to show me, yeah, I think I'll take a picture of that. If there's anything, that I'll change my mind maybe.
And now she's sitting in the nut house.
Now, she took that picture and saw that image in it. And she said, she said, you know that picture we took the other day? I said, yeah. He said, I want to show you. But I think I'm about ready to change my mind. So she got the picture out and she showed it to Mother. And she said, well, what more do you need to be free? She said, I don't know. I just don't know. So she come back home with Mother that day and they talked to Papa. And Papa told her, said, well, if you believe that the Lord, then you really believe it in your heart, and you ready to change your ways, the Lord will help her. She got it in a few days.
We went to a place called the Reed House Hotel. And we were aiming to stay a couple of days there so I could film. And there was a murder room there that they gave us a private tour through.
Yeah.
And we come back out and we was setting up on the landing. They were like 4 different corridors on each side up top in the loft. And I just turned around and started snapping photos. And I kept having this weird feeling to leave that hotel. I don't know what was going on or what, but I just could not shake the feeling to leave. And we just went ahead and left. We come back home and I got looking through them photos and you could plainly see, okay, Jesus in that photo. One, you could see him in his robe walking toward the end of the corridor, toward the front door.
And you think him on that balcony too.
That's what I'm talking about. And then in the first corridor, you could see him leaning over, pointing at the front door. And I was like, hold on a minute. So I showed a bunch of people that picture on one of my shows. And they're like, oh, I see a woman. I see a woman. Nobody would tell what they actually saw. That was a good Lord, if there ever was. I'm telling you. I ain't never had a stronger feeling to leave a place than that right there. And I believe, even though we didn't get to see him eye to eye, with him going in that direction and then leaning over the balcony, pointing toward the door, that was a sign to get out of there.
Could have been.
So when I had the feeling to go, and then I looked at the pictures, it added up. So that was just awesome. Okay. Like I said, I don't know what happened at the hotel. It's flooded 3 or 4 times over the years. They've had robberies over the years,
And
suicides.
that woman get her throat cut.
Yeah, in the
That yellow
bathtub.
boyfriend.
Yeah, all kind of mean junks happen up there. So I guess that was the good Lord's way of just looking out for us. Welcome.
I didn't realize that was gonna show up like he did in that picture.
Yeah.
Because I could see a real faint image, but I couldn't tell, who it was or nothing. I knew it was a man and he had on a long robe, but I didn't have the faintest idea that it would be Jesus.
Well, when you're zooming in, you can't see no feet. You cannot see no feet touching the ground.
Yeah.
And when you look at the first corridor and he's leaned over, you don't see no feet,
Yeah.
but you see the beard and the arm stretched out. But his robe never changed colors. It was the brightest white you can ever see in your life.
Yeah.
But it's neat.
People draw pictures and put things, they'll put him in different kind of clothes, different colors or stripes or something. And I don't think they had all that many stripes clothes back then, baby. But
Well, what I seen him in was a white robe,
yeah, it was
solid white.
White.
And
when-
everybody that was on there that night was like, "Oh, I see a woman." I'm like, hold on, just because you see some hair, you're not looking at the whole daggone picture. But everybody was wanting to say it was a woman. Well, if so, I've never seen a woman with a daggum bushed out daggum long beard. Okay, so but I'm gonna show that picture again one night. I got it in there on the film wall now. I got it on my old phone. I'll charge that old phone up and show you guys. Yeah. That was a beautiful place.
It was.
Man, I'm talking about beautiful. But over the years, they've been so much tragic junk. They said back in the 20s, they had to shut it down and redo it. Back in the 40s, they had to shut it down and redo it because of a flood. There was a fire there once. They had to shut it down and redo it back in the 50s or early 60s.
Yeah. Well, it caught fire once, they not burn it down.
And then there were some murders there. And they said the worst one was the murder room they took us in. There was a jealous boyfriend had left his girlfriend there at the hotel so he could go off somewhere. And when he come back, said apparently she had been seeing someone. And he stabbed her up and cut her up. She ended up in the bathtub. And it was something else. In that video, I know it's still up, and it's called the Reed House Hotel. But from the moment I walked in that place, I'm talking about, till the time we left, I had that feeling to leave.
When you walked in, you had a feeling something wouldn't lie. It felt like walked with crowding in on you something.
I just wondered if that place got robbed or anything right after we left.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I thought to myself many a time I ought to take them photos back down there and let them hang them up.
You've heard Mother tell that Mom come back and help her.
Yeah, tell that story.
Well, I was in the bathroom because I was sick at night.
Yeah, speak up a little bit.
And I was in the bathroom. I was sick. And I heard Mother. I thought I heard Mother close the door. So I went out the bathroom, I stood in the hall, and the door didn't open. She come through the door. I could go away with her, she could come right there through. But I knew it was her the minute I saw her.
No.
And nobody knew that I was even up, I didn't think everybody was asleep, And when I come out the bathroom door, the hall was just lit up with big bright white light. I mean, sparkling white. And I don't think you could have put up a light like that. But she looked at me and she done like this. And she waved at me and then she was on this second. But I don't know if it was meant for me to see her that night or just freak out that I
If
did.
it wasn't meant, you wouldn't have seen her.
But she waved at me. And she threw me a kiss, like that. And moved a little bit. The light just got dim and it all went dark.
Yeah. You remember what Ma was telling about up there at that little old church in the graveyard? I was telling Jill about that yesterday. I do believe it was. My Ma, my grandmother's grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day,
With my great great grandmother.
there were just very few graves up there at the cemetery. And that little old church house that sits up there next to the cemetery. Uh, the rest of it was just bars, pretty much. And Ma, she had been walking for a while, so she went and sat down on the porch of that church, and she was talking to the lady that was there, and they was talking about weather and whatnot. Said all of a sudden that woman just vanished, like into a cloud of smoke or something. And said it scared her so bad. Said she run through them bars. Said it tore her hide all to pieces. Time she got home. You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah. That was on Papa's side. That was his mother's mother.
Oh, Papa's mother.
I reckon that's that's
Well, I always heard it called Ma.
Yeah, what would they call both of them Ma?
That's whose ring mother was always wearing, was Ma's ring.
They said that she stood there and talked with her for about 20 minutes. Then that woman said, well, I guess it's time I gotta go. Then she just disappeared and scared Mom was mad. She went throughout them bars.
That'd
would give you a weird feeling.
It would. It would give you a weird feeling, that's for sure. But
They said they like to have never got her calmed down. It scared her so bad. They said it took them 2 or 3 hours to get her calmed down, find out what she even seen.
Well, you can imagine. So back in them days, they didn't really think of nothing about the paranormal.
People that knew part of the cemetery is over there on that other side of the road. See, that's where she went through the warpath.
Yeah.
And see, all that was bars and stuff. And then people back in them days, they let it grow because it had the fatberries.
Yeah.
And everybody in the community went picking fatberries. And they said the time she got home, she just cut it off pieces.
Yeah.
I imagine that would be scary.
Well, yeah. I mean, even my first few encounters were scary, because it's something that's
that
all of a sudden it just you can't explain, kind of thing.
That church hasn't always been haunted.
Yeah.
Because when we were 9,
I still say I want to do an overnighter in that church if I can never catch that Tim feller there nasty.
But we get off work early in the morning. We go in at 2:30 and get off sometime 11, sometime 1 or 2, depending on what they need to do.
You talking about the lights?
No, but we go there. We had Lonnie. We'd have to go by that old church. Have to take her home.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Stapler.
Yeah. Well, light shine out them in the church house. Wouldn't shine out the doors. Wouldn't shine out the windows because you couldn't see it. Yeah. But what I'm thinking is one night it kind of stormy like it been raining thunder now. I like that. We left work early that night, and we went by that church house. That front door was open, and you couldn't, but there was no light filling out of it. And as you went by, if you got close enough to go by the church house, there was a man standing in that doorway.
Hmm.
And that's the first time we'd ever seen him. But after that, we seen that man quite often. But Papa said he can remember when he was a little boy that there was uh, some kind of preacher, wasn't it? Only preacher, some other kind. I don't know if Baptist or what. But he didn't do like other people. He said he always wore a black suit and black hat. You know, that is the end that we see every night nearly. That man standing in that doorway. There wouldn't be no shadow, no light behind him. Really, you won't have shadow.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be no shadow and there wouldn't be no light shining out. But you could see him in the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing over the door with his hand on the doorknob, like he's inviting you to come in. You know, they said that's what that man did when he preached in that old church house. That he'd open the door, meet you at the door, and invite you in. And that's the way that old man looked for every time we go by.
You know, back when I was young, we pretty much stayed in that daggum cemetery. Day in, dark, all night long nearly. And we would ride our bikes through there and just hang out, you know. Never once had no bad feeling about nothing. And we used to live right across from it. My grandmother said one day, said, "JD, don't you look at them lights in that church house up there?" She said, "You know doggone well they ain't had no church in that church house, and I couldn't tell you when." And I said, "Mama," I said, "there's not even a light bulb in that old church." She said, "Well, come look." So I walked to the door and looked, and sure enough, it was lit up. I said, "I'm gonna go over there, Mama, and I'm gonna show you." And I walked over there, and it was plywooded up over the windows, but it was a perfect image of windows just lit up, but they were boarded up.
Yeah.
Now the back door you could open
Yeah.
because it was messed all to pieces.
But then the back door was always front door.
But I stuck a flashlight in there and looked. There was no light bulbs, none whatsoever in that place.
Uh-uh.
So
they used a oil lamp. They didn't have fire.
Yeah.
I mean, that we got now, they look now. And they still ain't none in.
you know that church has burnt down twice.
Yeah.
And there was a fella there one day working. It wasn't Tim. It was another fella. And me and Wanda was walking by there at the time, and we said, "Hey, okay, we won't come in there and check it out." He said, "Well, come on in." We went in. It's a pretty nice little church house in there, but there's a feeling there. There really is, and you can tell that you got several eyes, not just one or two. You got several eyes looking at you. You can feel it, and I would give anything to be able to do an all-nighter in there. There's no telling what we could catch or hear.
There's no telling who you feel what you see.
Well, if them walls could talk, kind of thing, it would be awesome.
But you know, we finally got used to seeing that man in the doorway. We got where we didn't pay him attention. But he's always there at night. And that was like that till they shut it down.
Yeah.
You know, they had church there for a while after they rebuilt it. And then they shut it down again. And then it caught fire again. And they built it again. The,
Awesome.
It's got a history.
Yeah. I tell you what, one of my funniest nights up there in that cemetery, the tree that my grandmother and mom is buried at now, it used to have lower limbs. They've cut them off. We was walking through there one night, and I was trying to, "Hey, Joni, how you doing, love?" I was trying to freak my cousin Scotty out. And I told him, I said, "Now be quiet." I said, "I've heard some stuff, man." I said, "I want you to come over here and listen." I had no idea this was fixing to take place either. But we got up in the middle of that cemetery, and two old cats went at it. They go squealing out like crow. Scotty squealed out like a pig and run. He broke a tombstone. He broke the branches off the tree. I mean, he skinned himself all up. And I thought I killed the boy. I mean, he was white as a ghost. His heart was going probably 220 beats a minute. I mean, he was freaking out. Okay. I have never seen anybody panic that bad, that quick.
Yeah, you can go one thing to another in a heartbeat.
I'll tell you what, it flipped that boy's world upside down. Damn. But actually, it goosed me too, because I wasn't expecting that, But you never know. I mean, you could take something serious and it turned out funny. You could take something not funny and turn out serious kind of deal.
Yeah.
But when them old cats went at it, son, I'm talking about he took out. Somebody's headstone plumb over, and you know how little bitty Scotty is. His knees hit it, and he just kept a trucking. They give him right. That's how come some of them daggum limbs ain't on that tree now.
You know what? During all that time, that birdhouse had been there, and they ain't a piece spoke at that birdhouse.
No, I built that one good. They give him right.
But Athen told me that,
They cut that limb down.
yeah, they cut that lamb down because it broke. And he said that little birdhouse that you put up there, he said it was just sitting on the ground. And he said it's the funny thing you ever seen. He said they wouldn't have place broke out of it. And that limb.
Even when we had that
had that
blast
routine, yeah, that routine limb sitting on top of it.
Yeah.
But he said he wouldn't have pieces broke nowhere. So he said, well, the other thing off the tree, what was going to do with the birdhouse? So
they said it there
he
beside
got-
her tombstone.
That he didn't know what else to do. He said it beside Mother Tombstone, beside where she's at.
Yep.
He asked me at church one night, who put the roadhouse up there? I said, John David made it and put it up there for her. And they said, I said, why? And he was telling me that when that phone broke it down.
Yeah.
And I said, she always liked to watch the birds.
She loved hummingbirds.
Yeah. I said, she liked birds anyway, but she liked to watch the hummingbirds.
Yeah.
And I told him, you built it and put it up there for mother because she likes to watch the birds. And he said, well, he said, if you get a close view of them now, because I had to set that thing down there right now, I heard him talk. He told me he's the one who set it down there.
Yeah. I remember one time talking about storms. You probably remember this too. Papa lived down in Texas before he come out here.
Yeah.
And he said down there, every weekend it was normal to have a tornado. What part of Texas they were in. And he said that the wind got up so strong, said there was an old bunch of old pine trees down there.
Yeah.
He said there was a piece of pine straw got slung and went through a pine tree.
That tree up there, the old schoolhouse up there where the fire department is.
I thought it was down in Texas.
No, he said that when they moved from Texas.
When he moved.
When he come back here, because after they moved back out here, he was still a little boy. Next, Pop Coburn lost his arm because he got drunk laid on railroad track in the river because he was drunk too long. He talked about right here.
Yeah.
Hey, that was clean to whistle.
Well, I thought it was in Texas.
No, it's when they moved from Texas.
I know
they did live in Texas. But
well, he told me it was like
all the kids weren't born. They 2 or 3 of them, the girls, 1 or 2 girls, and they said that Papa was flying out in the field. They started coming up the cloud, and now Mew got scared, went off, broke the trace chains now, and went off. Papa said, well, we know things kind of hunted up in, and he'd come back home if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he come to the house, and before he could get to the house, storm hit. And when the girls was little, and they said that Mama told them to get under the bed, y'all huddle up close to each other, and y'all hold on to each other's hand. And they said they all got under there and said, Papa ain't got back home. And said, Mama said, it's coming to tornado. And y'all kids get close together under the bed. They said, you got under the bed and said, it really coming bad. I mean, bad. They did tore everything up. And said she got to praying and said, that when it got over with, that she raised that, got the kid out from the bed so they wouldn't let them that bed there. The whole house was gone. And then they wouldn't never know who around. It was just like you put them fired all over.
No.
And she said that my mother said she could remember, said, I'm afraid the whole time that storm was going on. And said, can't remember from April or the one. Said, one of them said, Mama, said, are we going to get blown away? Said, if we do, we'll be close to heaven.
Mm.
And she said, I don't know, honey. Said, all I know is that it's bad, and we need to stay under this bed
Yeah, talk
and
up a little
pray.
bit. We can hear you. Yeah.
She said they said she prayed the whole time. And when it got over with, and they got out from under that bed because they wouldn't have with that bed and that little piece of floor was they laying on. And
Yeah.
that's what I call an it.
Yeah. I know Papa told me one time, said that he always worked in a sawmill, and he always wore jumper suits. And said that back in the day, he said they would jack up a truck and use the wheel of the truck to pull the conveyor belt. And said it wouldn't, but maybe a foot off the ground. And said somehow or another he got his arm caught in that conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And said it twisted him up so bad. Said that he couldn't even speak. It was so tight.
Yeah.
He said that
He got his jacket.
he said he told the Lord, he said, well, if it's my time to go, at least I know I got a good place to go. He said about that time, he said that truck just made a racket and started smoking and it quit. And said when they cut him out of there, got him out of there, said that he had cuts all over his clothes, but not on his body.
Yeah.
Nowhere, not even a mark.
They couldn't find nothing. They thought they'd find him cut to pieces,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't.
He said he wouldn't, but just maybe a second from going over the edge, and it would have just slapped him around. But
He said he was sober for a few days, but that's about it.
you know that's faith right there.
Yeah.
They got him right.
Yeah.
Mm. I think probably the saddest thing Papa's ever said about working, said that he worked for the Troop family at the time. Said that that man's grandson come up there to bring him lunch or something, and that boy wasn't but maybe 12, 13-year old, if that. Best of my recollection. Said that he was stepping across one of them conveyor belts and it caught his britches leg, and said it just started slapping him around. And that Papa said he had to sit and lunch at. Said he couldn't even get there fast enough to stop that thing.
They had that boy killed for to get to him. I heard him tell that too.
That's terrible.
And there's another time, the 2 or 3 times Papa told us stories that he happened in his life. You know where the church is, you know where that road is, we go back. So they used to not be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they was gonna do that road, they was a colored family buried there. And they had about 4 or 5 kids. And then them Baker kids was buried all in the same place nearly.
Mm-hmm.
But them little cousins.
As the ones that got burned up in that fire.
Yeah. There's 5 of them. And Papa said he helped them get them kids out of that fire and buried what's left. But them little colored kids, he said he tried his best to get them to let him dig them up and move them if they'd come through that road. And they wouldn't let him. You know, they built a road over them.
Mm.
And then there's a, there was a woman when they lived at the
You have
skyline.
to speak up. We can't hear you.
There, when they lived at the skyline, when them bills born. Uh, them bills born in December, and uh, they lived out there in a little house for the First National Bank is out there now. But they did the people who worked for, they sharecropped him and that other man. Well, they somebody's daughter, a little girl or something. Anyway, I don't know exactly who's. But anyway, they hired him and that man to move them because they're going to build another road out there. So they moved them because they're white kids. And they going to move one little girl for this woman. And he told Papa if he would do that, she would pay him. He said, no, I don't want no pay for that. He said, no, that I ain't taking money. He said he dug where they had that little tombstone. Said he dug nearly 7 feet. Said he couldn't find nothing. And said he went back and told her what he done. And she said, well, said all I know to do is just take some of that dirt and put it in another casket and put it in another place. So that's what he done. And
I've heard all my life that there's a mass grave in them woods across the cemetery, across the road.
I don't know too much about it being a mass cemetery. I mean, like that. I do know that there was a lot of people there that they didn't know who they was. They didn't know their name.
Well, there's a lot of stones up there that don't have no writing on them at all. It's just a rock.
Well, uh, there's a lot of them, they got a rock, the big rock sticking there, and they ain't got no writing on them. But there was a lot of them people that they didn't know who they was. And they buried them that way and they put a rock to mark the grave so they know there's somebody there and not buried in somebody else.
I remember Papa saying one time, said back in the day, and I don't think it's right, but it's just the way the world was. If you were a whore back in the day, when you passed, you didn't get a marker.
They
And if
didn't
you and
leave
if you
there.
and if you did get anything, it was just a stone
Yeah.
or maybe just a stick in the ground.
Uh, there's no telling who some of them people are. 'Cause I can remember that rap that he covered running around, these big things. We'd go up there and clean out the graveyard and clean Papa's grave. And Papa take the grave to another grave, no push more. But I go around and I look at them marks. And one day I counted some of them. And I counted by the head. I know how to count. And I told Mama, I said, I tell you what. I said, why in the world do they put a rock for people's graves headstone and not put no name on it? And I said, that's kind of silly. How you know who's going to be buried, who's buried there? She said, well, honey, so that's just the way they done. I said, it don't matter if we know who they are or not. The Lord knows.
Yep, Lord knows where we lay. That is still a shame, though. I don't care what you are or how you are. You should be there with some sort of a marker that tells you know you were there or you're there. They they've shamed a lot of people in life and in death. Sometimes a lot of people put the blame on everything on the government, but a lot of time it's the state itself. Each state has their own corruption.
Yeah.
I know for a fact there's a lot of Civil War soldiers in our cemetery up there that don't even have a marker. Now that's a dadgum shame.
I know.
They shed blood for us.
Well, uh, used
Good
to,
night, though.
it wouldn't let me do the old part of them from what your mama said. Uh, the other part of them, Charlton them had that, and They had no teaching of making a graveyard out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were getting so filled up on the old side. Charles decided to go ahead and open it up and make different graveyards. But they do a lot of graves up there. They never had nothing good to start with. So they don't know who's or what.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are. They don't know if they're a man or a woman or child.
You know what I've always wanted to make a video of is going around the different cemeteries talking to the owners. I've wondered this: if, when they're digging a grave, I wonder if they ever run into that don't have a marker. If they ever run into another body or whatnot,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what research they done to find out who the person was.
I don't know.
I would like to go to each cemetery and talk to the man that owns them and see what their stories are.
I know that happened once. 'Cause, they were digging a grave for an old woman. I can't remember. I remember seeing her, but I don't remember. I don't know her, personally. But I know who she is. And they digging her grave in the meantime. You know, they
Yeah.
said it false stone, big false. They did like so. And they were digging that woman's grave, and they had to dig it by hand because they couldn't use a household diggers and stuff like that. So they had to chop that and do it with a shovel. And they said they kept hitting something when they was going down the sides and they could move this fit a graveyard. And one of them said, "Y'all, I think we hit something." And they said, "No, I don't think y'all supposed to be nothing in there hit. There ain't no ghost there." He said, "You won't bet?" He said, "I just found something. And you tell me what it is." And they said they got to dig a little further on it. And they pulled out a piece of wood that like that. And it had the engraving on it. And said you barely could tell the engraving said it was a baby.
Hmm. Well, what's brought me to wanting to talk to directors that have diggers in their cemetery? Laws have changed. Used to it was 6 feet regardless. Now it's 4 feet.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if the laws have changed because of that occurrence.
I don't know.
Because they run into so many other
The graveyard to get
graves that's been there with no marker.
Yeah.
And they think if they go a shallower grave, they won't run into that kind of problem. And two, I want to ask if, which I know the truth will probably never be told, but if they're digging a grave and they run into one, do they move that body or do they just go on top of it and keep digging?
I don't know.
I guarantee you, never get a straight answer about that.
I don't know.
But if you stop and think about it, they changed them regulations for a reason. 6 feet to 4 feet. And I just think it would be neat to, if we did find someone to tell the truth, it'd be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But it would be awesome to know.
Yeah.
Me, if I was digging a grave and run into someone, I would move to another spot. I would.
Think I just cover that back up.
I would do, and I would put something there to say, "Hey, okay, there's one here."
Yeah.
But
to
save money, I don't think they would cover it back up and let them move it somewhere else. I think they would either go on top of that person or just keep on digging. That's just how cruel people are nowadays.
I know. Well, they ain't changed about the depth of grave now.
That's what I'm talking about, and I think that's the reason why.
Most graves are 6 feet deep.
Not no more.
Wide.
Not no more.
I know. I said most graves.
Yeah.
They're 6 feet deep, 3 feet wide, and that's enough, barely enough for a coffin to go down in there. And,
yeah.
But when they changed all that, they don't have to dig it far down, don't have to put his dirt back, and all
Was
that.
buried on top of his brother. That gum. She said, yeah, they will bury someone on top of another because her ex-husband that died was buried on top of his brother.
Uh,
Ain't that gum shame? I'm telling you what's true. I seriously, honest to God, I think that's why they've changed mandatory on death.
yeah, you never know what the undertakers are going to do. They may tell you one thing, do another.
And the guys that's out in the field may not come back and tell the whole story neither. They
Yeah.
might keep it hush hush.
Yeah. But uh, you know, I've seen where Steve PD, PVY, they that. And I've seen them go thinking, and there wouldn't be nothing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be nothing.
You know, bone, even when it fossilizes, is still there.
Yeah.
So there's no way people can say that when they're digging a grave. Now, I'm sure it probably don't happen all the time,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it happens somewhere around the world every day. But
Yeah.
I think that they would just keep digging or
Well,
just cover
they
it up like it was
they
nothing.
arrested the man that owned the funeral home up in Tennessee. Said he was taking uh, people that had injured. He'd take the teeth.
Okay, man, thanks for being here, though.
They caught him doing it. They said he'd done that for so long. They just got to be habit. And sometimes he just pulled people's teeth out of head. He didn't get it. He'd done it for money. It just come second nature to him. But they arrested him, and he went to jail. They gave him a life. They gave him a lifetime sentence. They didn't give him death penalty, but they gave him life.
I don't know why anybody wouldn't be truthful about that. What if it was their loved one?
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't like it.
Yeah. But
Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. We done been on for an hour and 42 daggum minutes. Love every one of you. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna retitle this thing here in a few minutes. So, if you couldn't hear it good, maybe you need to use earbuds. But I pray you can. Love every one of you. See you tomorrow.